Hey guys, it's Maddie, and today we are bringing you a brand new series called Big Questions About Big Rigs, where we will answer some of the biggest, most burning questions about all types of trucks, as well as the industry in general. For the first episode, we figured we would feature perhaps the most pressing topic in trucking: why aren't cabovers used in the US anymore? But before we get started, this video was made possible by our online Chrome shop, jaxchromeshop.com. Be sure to stop by the site and sweep through our fiery hot selection of 4th of July sales, including 10% off bumpers, visors, stacks, and so much more. And remember, folks, if your rig don't shine, you don't know jack. One of the overarching questions in the industry is one we hear time and time again on our channel. Why aren't cabovers used in the United States anymore? The short and sweet answer to that is simple. Regulations at the time, from the years 1956 to 1976, enforced a maximum length totaling 65 feet, including both truck and trailer. In 1976, an additional 10 feet of length was adopted into law, allowing for a now 75-foot total length for truck and trailer. Going back to the beginning in 1956, with an increasing amount of over 75,000 plus diesel trucks driving on our roads, the federal government first started by focusing on regulating the weight and width of commercial vehicles due to an ongoing concern that the weight of the tractors in their trailers caused undue stress to the surfaces over which they traveled. These regulatory rules were part of the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, formerly known as the National System of Interstate and Defense Highways Act, which mandated the mass construction of a national network of highways intended to connect and completely cover the entire nation. For the first time in history, there would be a set system of roads linking large cities and states together as one unified network. However, as these highways were almost fully funded by the federal government, Congress saw to it that travel on these roads comply with very certain and selective cargo carrying capacities. Consequently, cabovers quickly became the configuration of choice as they allowed for maximum length allowances. This criteria, set into law in the late 50s, stayed largely the same until the mid-1970s. When changes were then made related almost entirely to gross vehicle weight. These subsequent changes were seen, not surprisingly, in direct response to the skyrocketing cost of fuel during the 1974 energy crisis as an attempt to lessen the cost per load for drivers. Continuing into the early 80s, in 1982, the Surface Transportation Assistance Act started requiring states to permit trucks with trailers as long as 48 feet to travel on both inter- and intrastate highways. As length regulations increased and became less restrictive, the amount of cabovers quickly decreased and diminished almost completely by the late 1990s. The relaxation of rigid length rules ruined the main advantage of the cabover model, which was to carry the maximum load capacity in very little length. Over time, large carriers saw the switch to longer, conventionally styled semi-tractors, causing cabover sales to shrivel up rather quickly. Although the North American market eventually evolved away from the classic cabover configurations, these tried-and-true trucks still saw some certain advantages that allowed them to continue production in countless other countries, and also maintain a cult following continuing in America to this day. Many of the major advantages of cabover models are caused by their much smaller, shortened wheelbase, which makes for much easier maneuverability. Cabover collectors claim nothing can compare to a cabover when it comes to backing the big rig in and out of loading docks or winding the shortened wheelbase truck through heavy traffic. Such small axes make the truck not just easier to drive, but also safer, as drivers are better equipped with a bird's eye view and able to react to changing road conditions. Speaking of a bird's eye view, another amazing advantage of a cabover vehicle is the visibility, which is vastly better than that of a conventional cab truck. With the trucker positioned on top of the engine, the driver not only has to deal with far fewer blind spots, but is also granted a greater 180-degree view of their surroundings. Another lesser-known advantage of a cabover would be the catastrophic improvements in efficiency and fuel consumption. Because of these traits, the cabover trucks proved tough enough to navigate through even the tightest and most narrow roads, which saw soaring success across seas in Europe and several other countries. Of course, this outdated style of semi still has its fair share of disadvantages and drawbacks, including quite a few common complaints about cabovers. Perhaps the most prominent problem with these cabbies were the inconvenience and discomfort they caused to the driver. We spoke earlier about the severely shortened wheelbase, which allowed for lesser lengths to be used. However, this also caused cabovers to provide a pretty rough ride. Comfort caused a big issue when it came to long-haul trucking and kept many drivers from choosing a cabover configuration. In addition, the incredibly inconvenient sleeper setup saw a struggle for those sitting in the driver's seat. In order to obtain access to the bunk, the driver would have to crawl through a hole and over the engine. No reaching back to grab something, at least not very safely. Speaking of safety, the cabovers cause several safety concerns as well, due to the fact that the driver has less protection without a long hood to take some of the heat. Although many modern manufacturers made efforts to ensure more structural safety features and also address driver comfortability, in order to increase comfort, an increased price must be paid. As a result, sales started to dwindle down, and as the considerably more comfortable, long-nose, conventionally styled cabs were almost the same price as their flat-faced cabover cousins. Despite the pros and cons of the cult classic cabovers, most American companies continue solely creating conventionals, while an increasing number of international companies ramp up the release of innovative new cabover engine rigs. Some truckers truly believe there may still be a place in the American truck manufacturing market for the cabover, although only time will tell. Thank you guys so much for watching our brand new Big Questions About Big Rigs series. Before you leave, make sure you like the video, check out the other videos on our channel, and subscribe. We have finally reached our goal of 20,000 subscribers and are very close to 25,000. So thank you all so much for your support for the show. Next stop, 50,000. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything else you'd like to talk to us about, please be sure to tune into our live podcast, The Chrome Corner, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time, and join Maddie and Dave as they answer viewers' questions and discuss all things Chrome. If you'd like to stay up to date with the new projects we have coming, please follow us at Jack's Chrome Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be sure to buy your big rig the best chrome for your home with some sweet stainless 4th of July sales found on our website at jackschromeshop.com. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next week, and remember folks, if your rig don't shine, you don't know Jack.